Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Three Wide Life. I'm your host, Tony Rizzuti, and I'm joined this week by our own Megan Stanton. Megan, welcome.
Thanks, Tony. I am so excited to be out at Roush Fenway this week. This place has so much tradition.
Yeah, you think back to Matt Kenseth's Sprint Cup Series championship in 2003, the incredible year that Carl Edwards had last year. That led to a nationwide series title. Roush Fenway's really getting it done at NASCAR's top levels.
You know, and don't forget about Matt Kenseth's big win at the Daytona 500 this year.
Yeah, you mentioned Matt Kenseth. His crew chief in his very first race, Drew Blickensturfer, got the win. Later in the show, we're going to hang out with him. Two students won the Ford AAA Student Auto Skills Competition. They get to work on the 17 this week leading up to Pocono. What an opportunity for a couple of youngsters.
You know, and speaking of youngsters, I had the chance to catch up with TJ Bell, a truck series driver from the West Coast.
Yeah, TJ seems like a pretty cool guy, and we kind of have a young theme going this week because I had a chance to sit down with Paulie Haraka. You know, he races on the West Coast for Bill McAnally, but he's a full-time student at Duke. So we went up to Durham and we'll find out what he's got going on with the engineering department.
But first, Tony, let's catch up with Tiff Daniels, engineer from Earnhardt Ganassi, who was recently nominated for NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program.
My name's Tiff Daniels. I drive race cars, and I'm trying to turn that into my career, but in the meantime, I'm working at Earnhardt Ganassi Racing as a support engineer, mostly on the number 42 Sprint Cup car. What I do as a support engineer is take projects that the race engineers who travel don't have time to get done during the week because they're on the road so much, and do that R&D development behind the scenes for them. Any projects they come up with to improve handling on the car, and just try to get them caught up so that they can keep going week to week. I race late model stock cars, and I've traveled around Virginia and North Carolina, particularly Eastern North Carolina, in the past, and currently I'm running at Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia, which is one of the longest running short tracks in the country, has a big history. Used to run Busch Grand National cars there, which is now the Nationwide Series. So different drivers like Richard Petty used to run there, and now I'm currently racing against a lot of people, a lot of veterans that have been running there for a long time. So it's really good competition and a good place to get started to make the move up to the next level. Working at Ganassi is a good glimpse into what it's like at the highest level of the sport. I work here every day. I get to see what goes into making that happen, and just the knowledge of learning these cars definitely will help as we're moving forward. You can definitely learn stuff that can be applied to what we're doing now with the late models. I would tell you first that I'm a race car driver, and second that I'm an engineer, and that my day job consists of everything from sweeping the floors at our shop at home to working on Sprint Cup cars on the pull-down rig for a living, which is, you know, something that usually takes some explanation with people. So a couple months ago, right after we talked last, I got picked up by the Drive for Diversity program, which I had gone through their combine last fall and had pretty much gotten a ride worked out, fell through last minute, and got chosen in the middle of the season to fill an empty Camping World East ride that we had for Hamilton Racing, which is Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s team, and started, I think I found out on Tuesday and had to fly out to Watkins Glen on a Thursday. So didn't get a lot of notice, but had a good time, and it was certainly a great experience. And now I've run Watkins Glen and Loudon, and I'll be running Loudon again, Lime Rock, which is another road course in Dover. Really, it's just a good forum to move up, you know, to show that I can drive at a level above late models that we were racing at before. You get a lot of exposure from running in the East Series, and you get NASCAR approval to run the bigger tracks. So now that we've run on, say, Loudon, which is a mile track, I've gotten approved for the mile circuits in NASCAR, and we'll be looking, you know, to then go up to the mile and a half on super speedways. Goal is to be winner and champion at the highest level. Anything I do, I want to be the best and do it better than anyone. So we're trying to work our way up in a way that makes sense, so that by the time that I do work my way up to the Cup Series, I'm ready and can perform.
More Three Wide Life right after the break. Welcome back to Three Wide Life. As you can see, we've moved inside to the Roush Fenway Museum, where some of their classic historic cars are on display. You know, arguably some of the best racing in NASCAR takes place in the Camping World Truck Series. A young man that's trying to make a name for himself is TJ Bell. Recently, Megan was able to catch up with him at the Red Horse Racing Shops up in Mooresville, North Carolina.
TJ, it's great meeting you, and thank you so much for having us out at your shop. Now, I know that you got your start in your career at the age of 8 years old, and you race go-karts. Where did you go from there?
Well, actually, I was at my first race when I was 2 weeks old with my dad, off-road racing. Then did a lot of go-kart racing. Then went to Formula 4 2000. Went to Toyota Atlantic for 2 years, and then I moved to England, lived over there and ran prototype sports cars. Did the 24 Hours of Le Mans, 24 Hours of Daytona, and 12 Hours of Sebring. So a lot of different racing to get where I'm at right now.
Now, a lot of the guys at the shop have said that you're very familiar with the technical side of racing. How important is that to know your car and to work on your car?
I think it's a big part. I mean, definitely just because, you know, when you're sitting in there and you're telling them what the truck's doing, they talk about what they're going to make a change about, and I want to know what that's supposed to feel like when I get on the race truck or on the racetrack. So I spend every day at least an hour at the race shop just with the guys, watching them set it up. If they're at the pull-down rig, I go there. I just try to learn as much as possible because it makes me better when I'm in the truck.
What kind of relationship do you have with your teammates and the guys out at the shop?
I think that's the biggest thing you can have with the race team. It's one big family. So I'm in here, like I said, every day. We go to lunch, we hang out of the shop, and you try and make it a family atmosphere because when you're like that, everyone works harder for you.
Now, I know you have a good relationship with the guys at the shop and your teammates. I know that your family also plays an important role in your life. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, you know, Mom's always been part of my racing with lap times and stuff like that, and Dad's always been there to critique me, you know, like dads do. But they've been nothing but supportive. They're at every race they can make. They drive the motor home to it. They bring my dogs, which is really important for me too. So just more than anything, they are my biggest fans and cheerleaders.
Now, I know that you got your start in stock cars in an unlikely way. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, just coming from open wheel racing, I had to forget everything I knew about racing when I got into a stock car. So, you know, I never ran short tracks. I've never been off the gas and off the brake at the same time, letting the thing roll through the center of the corner. Coming from road racing and open wheel racing, we had a ton of downforce, ton of horsepower, which here you have horsepower, but you don't have any tire, you don't have a lot of downforce, don't have a lot of braking. So I really had to rethink how to drive a race car. But I think I'm starting to get it a little bit now.
What kind of goals have you set for yourself for this year?
I want to win a race. You know, that's my biggest goal of the year. I definitely want to be in the top 10 in points, if not racing for the championship.
TJ, who have been some of your mentors throughout your career?
I'd have to say my dad's probably one of my biggest. We ran off-road racing out of our garage on a shoestring budget. He's won every major off-road race there is except the Baja 1000. And then, you know, I look up to a lot of different people, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, just people that are real racers at heart that just love racing. And you can tell who they are, the people that just want to go out there and race their hardest.
Well, TJ, thank you so much for hanging out with me and having us out at your shop, and we look forward to watching you out there this season.
I appreciate it, and everybody take a look at that number 11 Toyota Tundra.
Well, Megan, TJ seems like a really good guy, and I don't know about you, but I really dig that cat's style.
You know, he is pretty cool, and I think he's a driver we're going to see out the track more often.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Daytona 500 winning crew chief Drew Blickensturfer. More Three Wide Life after the turn. Welcome back to Three Wide Life, and as promised, we've moved into the race shop here at Roush Fenway for a behind-the-scenes look. As you can see, we have Drew Blickensturfer here, and we're going to ask him about how these 4 AAA students have helped him in preparing the 17 car for Pocono, and also find out what it's like in the life of a Sprint Cup Series crew chief.
Today, sitting here talking about it, it's more special than it was that day. Coming into the race, we were in a backup car. We had to start last. I knew we had a good car. I knew anything could happen, but I wasn't thinking about winning the race. I was thinking about surviving Daytona, being a speedway race. And then when it came down towards the end of that race, you know, you're so into it, you don't realize you're about ready to win it. And when the rain came and things kind of settled down, you thought, man, we might win the Daytona 500. This is pretty cool. Then afterwards, you know, putting the car in the museum, all that stuff was so exciting and so fast-paced, you didn't really get a chance to really say, I won the Daytona 500. And I told someone last week, I said, you got to go finish 20th at Martinsville or 15th at Michigan before you realize how cool it is to win the biggest race of them all. Because when it's your first one and your first right out of the box, you don't understand how special it is quite until you have a couple failures, a couple moderate successes, you don't realize how special that day really was until like now, sitting and talking about it. I'm Drew Blickensturfer, crew chief of the number 17 DeWalt Ford Fusion for the Sprint Cup Series. Crew chief for Matt Kenseth. 32 years old, from Illinois originally. Now we make our home in North Carolina. I work for Roush Fenway Racing and Jack Roush. When Matt gave me the call on a Monday night, I remember talking to him for about an hour and him asking me to come do it. It was a special day. You know, I'd always wanted to be a Cup crew chief. From the time I got in the sport, I didn't want to be a driver. I didn't want to be a tire changer forever. I wanted to be a crew chief. And when I got that call, I realized that it was a heck of an opportunity to work with a driver like Matt and a team like this. It's something that doesn't come along very often. I use tire changing as a you know, kind of to pole vault me into this career. I used it to get with better teams, but the whole time knowing that I needed to learn everything I could Monday through Friday to kind of propel that hope of being a crew chief. So, you know, I changed tires on Sunday, and it allowed me to be with good teams and be with a good company like Roush. But everything I did Monday through Friday was preparing myself setup-wise and learning about shocks and learning things like that, so I could eventually get in this role. And they know that you know, Sunday's job was changing tires, but Monday through Friday I was more worried about cars. And I got the lucky opportunity this year to hook up with Ford and AAA with the Ford AAA Student Auto Skills Competition. And what that competition is it groups high school students around the whole country. They first compete locally, and then they get to compete for a state championship. And like the state finalists and the champions get to go on to a national competition in Dearborn at Ford's headquarters. And those lucky 50 from every state, they compete in a head-to-head competition with an instructor, 2 students and 1 instructor. They compete for millions of dollars of prizes. They get the opportunity, the winner from the Dearborn, Michigan finals, get an opportunity to job shadow us on the 17. So it's an opportunity for a bunch of high school students to compete, which all high school students get to do, especially if you're into cars and into things like that. They compete, which is great. They get an opportunity to learn a skill that's valuable for life. Most of them have chosen to go into a field, you know, where they work in a dealership or they want to come work in racing. It's really neat that AAA and Ford have put on an opportunity for students to compete against each other and then learn or get valuable scholarships to further their education in a field that is a booming industry. You know, the car repair business is still going strong. People are repairing their used cars in a time where sometimes you can't afford a new one. It's definitely a field that's still going upward instead of downward right now.
You can catch all the 3 Wide Life action online at 3widelife.com. Tech Zone, brought to you by our friends at Circle Track Magazine. Real tech for real racing. Hi again, everybody. Tony Rizzuti for 3 Wide Life, and today we're in Durham, North Carolina. We're on the campus of Duke University, and we're going to meet with Paulie Haraka and find out how he balances being a full-time student and also a racer in the Camping World West Series. So join us today as we go inside the Tech Zone. Here on the legendary court, Duke University Cameron Indoor Stadium with Paulie Haraka. And Paulie, I think by now most of our fans know how you came up through the ranks, but you're part of the NASCAR Diversity Program, and you were the first driver from that program to bring a NASCAR championship to a team. How has that jump-started your career?
It's been awesome. I mean, the Drive for Diversity program has definitely been a big thing to catapult my career and to go out with Bill McAnally Racing in 2008 to win 11 races in the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series Championship really opened up a lot of opportunities, and now to be running in the NASCAR Camping World West Series, to be having moderate success and to be leading Rookie of the Year standings at this point, really enjoying it, really having a lot of fun, and really working and progressing through the ranks.
All right, so you're part of this Formula SAE program where you build a car from scratch, part of your engineering program. I know you've got a garage around here. Can you take us over and show us the car?
Yeah, we definitely can. We can go check out the car and have some fun with it.
All right, Paulie, well, here we are in the garage area, and it looks like your typical short track garage, except for you've got some pretty cool equipment in here.
Yeah, here at Duke University, we need to assemble a race car just like any other race team, but we're really fortunate we've got access to a lot of top-notch equipment, CNC lathes, CNC mills, to design really beautiful stuff. This is made out of Hexcel carbon fiber. This is our intake restrictor. and it was made on a mold that we did right here in-house on our CNC lathe, and we also laid the carbon fiber.
And I know we have Will, Dave, and Hardy working on the car right now. How many other students are involved?
Yeah, there's about 20 students involved here at Duke in the program, and they put in countless hours in the shop, but also outside at their computers, designing parts and trying to think of ways to make this thing go faster.
Okay, so we know how you got involved and we know where you build the whole thing. Now let's take this out to the quad and learn a little bit about the car itself. All right, Paulie, now this is cool. This is the Formula SAE project car. Tell us about the program and a little bit about the car.
Yeah, so the car is built completely by Duke students. Formula SAE, Formula Society of Automotive Engineers, the SAE, they sponsor a competition. It's the largest engineering competition in the world on about 120 universities from mostly in the United States, but abroad. Build cars and compete. So this car was built entirely on Duke's campus. It's kind of split up into two teams, Will Gardner and his engine team and James Montupet and his chassis team. And they build the car from scratch and take it to compete. They build a new car every year. It's a 77 horsepower engine. Formula SAE does put some intake restrictions on us. But 77 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot, but the car only weighs 460 pounds. It's extremely light. So power to weight ratio-wise, this thing will get going really fast. It'll corner at 1.5 Gs, which that's a lot. It's a lot of fun to drive, and it gets going fast.
Well, as you can tell, we have a very quiet day here on the Duke University campus. I think we need to make a little noise 3
We
wide
can
style.
do that. We can definitely make some noise.
All right, we're going to fire this puppy up. Paulie's going to go change into his fire suit. We'll see what this Formula SAE project car can really do. All right, Paulie, this car isn't like the ones you usually drive. She's temperamental, and she's going to get loose on that tunnel turn.
I'm dropping the hammer, Tony.
Today's tech tip deals with furthering your education. Now, if you're a prospective student or maybe you're already going to school and you want to learn about the Formula SAE program, be sure to check in with your engineering department. It's a great resume builder and a good chance to get hands-on experience. All you have to do is check in with them. They're always looking for volunteers to work on those cars. Now that's real tech for real racers.
What's up, everybody? Shane Mill here at the famous Rusty Rudder in Lake Norman, North Carolina. You never know who you're going to run into. I ran into a good buddy of mine I've raced with all summer long, USAC. He's a USAC National Sprint Car Champion, USAC National Midget Champion. His name's Josh Wise. Let's go out and catch up with him. Josh, what's up? Well, Josh, it's weird to see you in North Carolina. I've seen you all summer long throughout the Midwest racing and stuff like that. So explain to me what you're doing home, why you're not going to run the prairie, what's been going on over the last month. I mean, let me know what's up with you.
I've just been gone all summer, man. You know, we've been on the road through Sprint Week, Belleville, and, you know, TNT Tour. Been having a blast for sure, but got to make it home at some point or another and, you know, kind of resettle in and reevaluate what's going on and everything.
You know, what is it like being home? Are you relaxing? Are you thinking about what you have to do next time? You know, DuQuoin's coming up in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a big race for us. You know, you've obviously moved up. I think you're 5th in the Silver Crown points now, and at the beginning of the year you were way back. So you're actually still in range to win the championship. I mean, what do you think about your chances in that, and what do you have coming up?
It's a stretch for the Silver Crown Championship, but that was our goal going into this year when we started. That's the one championship I haven't won in USAC. So I really, you know, when I sat down at the beginning of the year and kind of evaluated my position, what was going on, you know, I had the opportunity to go and do the Silver Crown deal, and I jumped on it right away because that's something that I hadn't achieved. That I felt like I achieved pretty much everything else I wanted to in the open wheel stuff, and that was the one thing I missed on was winning the Silver Crown Championship. So, you know, we still have a chance. It's a long shot, but we'll go down fighting for it, you know, and see what happens.
Tell me your biggest race that you'd enjoy winning.
I've won a lot of them now, sprint car, midget, you know, a lot of different tracks and championships, and for some reason there's some like aura about Belleville that just makes it a pretty amazing place to go and win. You know, the history and the other people that have won it, and obviously the money it pays to win too, you know, is the icing on the cake. But I think it's pretty tough to beat that. I think you know, race-wise, I'd have to win some kind of, you know, NASCAR race to top that. It's probably my coolest win so far, though.
Well, I mean, we're out here on the lake. You interested in doing some wake skating or something? Surely you can do something behind this boat.
Yeah, we're out here. It's been a few months, so we might as well enjoy it while we're here.
Well, Josh, I appreciate you having us out on the boat today, showing us your wake surfing, and Adam showing us up completely, making us look like idiots. But I hope I catch up with you. I hope I catch up with you all summer long racing. You've been out front most of the year. You've been doing really good. Good luck to you, and thanks for being on 3 Wide Line.
You didn't even talk about wake surfing.
I don't want to talk about it. Did you see me on it? I can't do it. I'm not very good at it. I enjoyed it, so thanks for having us out.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for watching, and Megan, thanks for being my co-host.
Drew, thanks for letting us hang out, and thank you, Roush Fenway. If you want to see full episodes of 3 Wide Life, be sure to log on to 3widelife.com.
For Megan and Drew, I'm Tony. Keep living the 3 Wide Life.